Всем привет, ну что, продолжаем наше путешествие. Еще не всех убили. Ха. Вперед.
Sweet relief.
I needed that.
Очень долгий был переход.
It surrounds us. Even so, it's plain as day to the east, all about Ikara's cabin. Immaculate's beset. If she has ordered such thorough defenses of her sister's cabin, that means Ikara herself must be there, Hunter. And it is essential that you find her. Ha! Zigzags would see you dash rather than mosey. But Leandra and her cronies may be lunatics all, but they're far from brainless. So be...
Ah, the Source Hunter. It is my greatest pleasure to announce to you that we Immaculates have captured the fear. Yes, the greatest known threat to Rivellon has been neutralized. Thanks in no small part to you, Source Hunter. Your activities and I am a proud Immaculate, sworn to use my summoner's expertise in service of the goddess's one way and the greater good. Ah, the High Counselor of Sicil. We mourned his still, Source Hunter. I am sworn on my life to guard this quarantine. I serve a higher authority than yours, and will not waver in my duty. If you're certain, I suppose I can trust the word of one of your esteemed order. Go on then, Source Hunter.
Poor man. It seems he was eaten by a beast.
Well, partially eaten, to be more precise.
Не пошел я к ведьме, решил сначала обследовать территорию. Тут интересно посмотреть, что тут да где.
I can't believe we're stuck here, so close to our goal.
You there! Your knightship! Oh, we're refugees, my liege. Two of the far too few souls that managed to escape Hunter's Edge when the orcs invaded. Those devils would have scalped and skewered us if it hadn't been for Alfie. Well, the brave creature bit one of them in half. Though not before oh, it was naught but a small stop for trading folk along the long road south to Sicil. Well, we got along all right. But now our little home's finally been undone. Bravest beast of burden in the borough is Alfie. But the poor blighter's bleeding like a stuck pig and can't move no more. Which means we... Why, it would be folly to abandon a bandit killer in a wood full of bandits now, wouldn't it, your knightship? Besides, all our... And yet, we can hardly stay here forever. Silverglen is close enough to see the chimney fumes from here. Mara absolutely refuses to leave Alfie's side, and like I said, I'm inclined... Oh, we'd be mighty grateful if you would escort us to Silverglen, your knightship. But for it is our aim to set up shop there. A new smithy and without Alfie, though, without the tools he carries, I'd be like a fisherman. Our predicament is clear. And the biggest problem is that Alfie's wounds are so dire, no ordinary healing potion will work. He needs... Oh, we are, my liege. Though, like I said, it would grieve us dearly.
You're right. We should try to heal Alfie first.
Indeed. He carries your belongings.
I'm glad you've agreed Alfie needs to be saved before we can depart. Please leave no... No one's coming from the direction of Sicil, of course. Well, except maybe
Надо спасти этого красавчика.
Perish the thought.
To think of all the clothes I left behind.
I
in
knew that
Hunter's
man, comrade. A fine blacksmith, Bjorn. It gladdens me more than you can imagine. Well, it started like any other day, comrade. I told you before, and that there hadn't been a peep from the Phantom Forest in nearly a century. And save the occasional drunken, I was on patrol one sunny afternoon when I stumbled upon a pair of scrawny orcs building a fire. Bellowed at 'em to get. What I did find was a deep red, apple-sized gemstone in one of their pockets. It was warm. You and I both know that now, but then my senses were dulled by years of peace. I'd grown soft. I was foolish. Their kind never did take a shining to such finery, so I assumed it had been stolen for its trading value. I pocketed that all was peaceful back at the village, all was quiet. If only I'd known then. Night had only just begun to fall when they surrounded us. It could. Those of us who resisted were immediately cut down. I watched the blood of innocent villagers spill into the streets. I saw their bodies hit the ground. I made myself promise that night, comrade. Never again would I let another sign of source pass me. It's a promise I intend to keep.
Up, my sweet. I'm not
Let's-
too tired.
Let's discuss it another time, comrade. For now, maybe we ought to soldier forward. Plenty to be done around.
Close my eyes in the middle of
У Мадеры своя интересная история, блин.
I'll never open them
Ладно,
again.
будем лечить.
No, we must remain vigilant.
Bloodstone. As powerful as it is sinister.
What was that? A bandit? Oh, oh no. It's nothing but a squirrel. Oh, God. Oh dear, my nerves are all shot.
Я использовал его на себя. Ладно, сейчас переиграем.
Don't you worry, my sweet. We've outrun the orcs and we'll out.
I have no idea what I am really, only that I was caught in a snare when I was very little. Luckily, the hunter thought I didn't look quite appetizing enough to be eaten, and so he sold me to Mara. Bjorn didn't like the look of me at first, but when I grew strong, stronger than 5 stallions combined, bless your heart merely to suggest it, my friend, but you'll need powerful magic indeed to cure this devilish gash. I've heard they dabble in healing rituals in Silverglen, which is a bloodstone. Then it is in your power to...
So, my love. But with Alfie wounded so, what can we possibly do?
A
We
solution
have the
will-
means to save this animal.
That would be the kind thing.
My word! Well, this is marvellous! Nay, miraculous! Outlaws be damned! I am healed!
As
Dearest
powerful
Alfie,
as it is sinister,
how brave you were. Oh, but
I was
suffer
really
for it.
hoping to find something better.
There. You kindly. What do you say, your knightship? Will you escort us? We are your knightship. Right you are, Sir Knight.
Dear, oh dear, my nerves are all shot.
I'm warm as fresh apple pie.
It's heating up.
Офигевшие головорезы, блин. Полкоманды перебили.
Nowhere is safe from my arrows. Someone, help me, please!
Explosive flames!
Save me! Oh, do save me! Away from me, fiend! Away!
Save me! Oh, do save me!
Save me! Oh, do save me!
Away from me, fiend! Away!
A man at arms is always intense.
Feel my electric fury!
Away from me, fiend! Away!
Save me! Oh, do save me!
Столько проблем из-за каких-то лесных разбойников. Да, мы еще совсем слабы.
myself.
Ah! Someone, help me, please!
Ah! Someone help me! Please!
In the name of the goddess, halt. Who goes there? A wanderer, you say? A lost sheep, perhaps, that has found its flock. Why, it's Silverglen, of course. Once the abode of miners, now the abode of the faithful. We have traded the search for silver for the pursuit of divinity. I'm sure this sounds strange in what a stranger's ears, but you must know that she showed us how we may overcome the frailty and even the decrepitude of our mortal bodies. That is why But I suggest you talk to Father Loic if you want to learn more about the ways of the goddess. Be welcome, therefore.
The Immaculates here seem to be a friendly enough bunch.
May the
Seem
goddess guide
being
you
the
through the
operative
forest
word.
and keep
Let's
you
remain
safe.
vigilant.
Silverglen! We did it! Oh, you did it! Oh, Mara, my love! Truly, what is to become of us here, I wonder? Oh, but I know, don't I? A blacksmith I was in Hunter's Edge, and a blacksmith I'll remain, for such is my one purpose in life.
Ridiculous. The degenerates here claim they have been cleansed. But I can, as you know, I once carried the burden of disease upon emaciated shoulders. Perhaps I had better, so I shall. Once upon a time, I was a king in a land of beauty to the east. A land of I was a young king, handsome and all-powerful. Every noble... I knew my life as a sovereign would be self-indulgent, but all... And so a handful of years went by. The king's throne I myself occupied, whereas the queen... But then one day, a young woman visited my kingdom. She was a poetess and a storyteller. People flocked to her, listened to her Hiraka. How I miss her still. Oh, and how I miss her body. And yet, true happiness. That commodity more precious and even more fleeting than the dominion of... It was an unparalleled horror. Scores of physicians flocked to my bedside. They traveled from realms across the seas hoping to cure, but none of their potions took effect. Their salves seared, but did not soothe my fading flesh. Like a ghoul I looked. It went like this, Hunter. If a ghoul I had become, so a dark turn of thought convinced me, A ghoul's methods I should employ to escape. I did unspeakable things in the dusky dungeons that twist like forgotten veins to long-deceased organs, far beneath my castle's sunlit halls. Halls which still there came no relief. Perversions I created in scores. Like mosquitoes in the night, panic and despair beset me until I turned to that darkest of all arts. It had to be. There was no other way. I could feel the life slipping out of me like love out of a betrayal. I drew forbidden symbols. I spoke unhallowed words, and from the smoke that rose like a dragon's last breath, a demon appeared to me and said, "Hiraka." Never had I known a single word can cut deeper than the sharpest of daggers. With maddening glee, the demon told me she was one of his kin, a soul-swallowing horror that had been feeding on both. After such revelations, does one truly desire to live on? Death seemed like a mother then, welcoming me with her "all will be well" embrace. Yet still I feared exceedingly her. It smiled, of course it did. Smiled bare 100 razors as its eyes came alight with infernal fire. 1,000 years I will give you, it whispered. I think you know the answer to that question, Hunter. But I've said enough for now. These memories are painful to recollect. So let us turn to the rest. And so let the hunt continue.
Have you ever seen a creature more pathetic than...
Джоан жестче историю, честно говоря.
Well, well, well. So our very own demon hunter once dabbled in the so-called darkest of arts himself.
A man so utterly betrayed and dying will grasp at any straw. I can hardly blame him.
Neither can I.
Glass of wine, please.
Coming right up.
Hi there, cutie pie. Want to have a good time?
This is most excellent news. Welcome to the Immaculate Fold.
Do you believe in the gods, baby? Because you're the heir.
Sweet relief.
Over here, Hunter. It's me, Ahu. Psst. Over here, Hunter. It's me, Ahu. Source Hunter, you've made it into the hamlet of Silverglen, I see. Unnerving spot, don't you find? Leandra has fashioned herself a hero here, but they're thick as trout, if you ask me. and unnaturally obsessed. I haven't seen Leandra here myself, but she must have put on quite a show of magical mastery to enthrall a crowd of shaggy miners. Haven't you heard them whisper of the blood? How their eyes shine when they discuss certain stellar stones? Star stones, of course, which drenched... Now, I can see how it could be a fantastic thing to nurse a dying human back to health. They all act like they're following a benign goddess that will lead them to paradise. But I'll be a dappled Dalmatian if any of that is true. I've been shadowing the local priest, a man by the name of Loic. I have the feeling he knows more than most in Silverglen, for I've followed him in the night when he meets with cloaked strangers, and goblins even. Mangoth, Hyberheim, of strange things I've heard him whisper. Yes, this priest has shady goings-on written all over that smug, holier-than-thou face. But we must start at the beginning, Source Hunter. The White Witch is still at large. If we want to get to the true heart of Leandra's doings, we must start with her sister. And she's far likelier to be in her... The advantage of being a puss, my friend, is that one can pussyfoot. Not that I'm not extra wary of these bloodsuckers, though. There's the Immaculate's presence here is highly disconcerting. But we mustn't lose sight of our mission.
Это все распоряжение дает некворочным. Надо тут сходить, белую ведьму найти. А сам ходит кот, блин. Ладно.
Miracles we deem them no longer, no. Infinitely greater we now know them to be. They are the blessings of the goddess wrought in action.
Back into the fray.
Welcome be, O seeking souls, to this holy... I am Loic, enlightened one among Immaculates, spokesman for the holy conduit, as she is spokesman for the goddess herself. Hers is the blood. Then it shall be my pleasure to answer them. We are the chosen ones of the goddess. The benedictions of the blood render our bodies and spirits unblemished, for such is her mercy, that we may all become part of the sacred soul. And you too, Seeker, could become one such part. The conduit, yes. She, the most exalted of all, second only to the goddess. The goddess is the light and life of all. Corrupt is the world, the few, the proud, the enlightened. Theirs will be her kingdom. When read, you find yourself in the goddess's temple. Therefore it follows she wants you to take the true path. So here, have this hallowed tome. Read it, absorb the wisdom within, then find the second part and do with it the same. If an immaculate you want to be, a test of knowledge shall be your first.
Read the words of the goddess.
Blessed be the goddess, and blessed be the conduit!
Give me the strength, O goddess, to become enlightened.
Let me spill blood for thee, O Holy One.
Bow before the goddess and bow before her mouth on
The world is not immaculate as yet, friend. Be wary, be vigilant.
I sense enemies nearby.
Сама природа против нас.
One shot, many wounds.
Flare to life and burn all adversaries.
How many eyes does the bull have? I must focus.
Чувак просто побежал и сдох. Чего он побежал, я что не просил?
Assault from the air!
Time to turn up the heat!
A stitch in time, eh, my friends?
Sanctification of the Seven!
Chill to the bone.
as good as a new pin.
Bless the Seven! I am restored!
Если дальше такие цветочки пойдут, то будет жестко. И главное, возле самого города, что они нас ждали, не могли очистить тут эту территорию свою. Болваны.
Not enough.
They are but flies to this queen.
Что может быть лучше против ядовитых растений, чем паук?
your blood run black with corruption.
My target dances in shadows.
Poison consumes me? Where there's smoke, there's fire! On the men.
Into the fray once more.
The world is not immaculate as yet. Beware.
в улье хранить деньги. Ну, это нормально. Это придумано неплохо. Ладно, давайте-ка на сегодня все. Хватит уже столько боев. В следующий раз пойдем в этот городишко, разберемся, что тут к чему, непорочные эти белые ведьмы и остальное. Все только начинается. Всем пока. Увидимся.